And now, podcasting from the sun-scorched desert Southwest, weighing in at a combined total of 340 pounds, Brad Winchester, Tyler McDowell-Blanken, are Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and with me, as always, is my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell-Blanken. Tyler, we're recording on a traditional day, Sunday, as we record this. Kind of going to be the way it is going forward after next week. How you doing today?
You pointed that out to me yesterday via text. I was like, you know what? Brad has a point here. This is a total game changer. With Collision, not only do we need to fit 2 more hours of wrestling viewing in, but our pod schedule, our recording schedule goes back to how it used to be. So, man, I'm doing great today. I know you and I were talking about, what did we talk about in our production meeting? Weather, of course.
Of course.
We caught up on our weeks, and it was just a really good week for me overall. And I know we have a ton to discuss. I'm really excited not only about the wrestling, but the pop culture and dare I say lifestyle portions of Gimmick Infringement. So yeah, it was a good week, man. As always, genuinely super happy to see you and to chop it up with you about anything and everything. And I'm feeling ready for this episode. How are you doing?
Doing great. Don't forget, we have chapter listings in the description. So if you want to skip to something, if you were not interested in just listening to us talk about professional wrestling here, if you want to hear about the other things, go ahead and skip to those moments in the pod. If you are on YouTube, you can click the chapter listing, go directly to that part of the video and watch us there. Shout out to Sheila for listening. You can jump around. You don't have to stop when we get to the pro wrestling elements. I am doing really well. I have been eating up this Freya time this week. Freya, I don't think I told you this. Freya might be the toughest SOB walking the planet. She had an ear infection. Her ear was bothering her. So she brought her to the doctor. Jess brought her in, and they checked in her ear, and the doctor looked into the ear that wasn't bothering her and looked up and went, you sure this ear doesn't hurt? Because it's infected. And then the other one was like, oh yeah, this one's definitely infected too. She had a double ear infection and was just sort of like, yeah, I'm fine. Don't worry about it.
She was no selling it.
Absolutely. Until she wasn't.
I'm not surprised.
When she's like, oh, I'm in pain. That's where we're like, oh man, we got to go to a doctor right now. Cause she's just like, whatever, pain. That's fine. Double ear infection. I'm fine.
She's a worker. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, she absolutely is.
How's she doing now though? When was this?
This was earlier in the week. Good, but like it's sort of headed to her face, and she's on antibiotics, and now she's coughing a lot and snot city, but her ears feel good, and she's jonesing to get back in the swimming pool is really what's going on here. So she's doing really well, and I think feeling better, not sleeping the greatest because of the coughing and the snot and stuff, but it's much better than what it was. But it meant that we were going to spend some time together. We watched Star Wars for the first time with her. She wanted to. She was all about it. She got her baby Yoda Squishmallow pillow and hung out on it and watched the first Star Wars. We're going in release order, which to me is the appropriate order. So we started 1977, and we just almost finished Empire. I have a video of her. I wanted to see her reaction when Vader, no, I am your father. And she just kind of no-sold it. She was watching it, eating her little popcorn, and she's like, I did not know that. And that was it. That's all it was. I thought it was going to be a big, what? No, it was just, I had no idea. Continue your popcorn. And then Luke flung himself into the pit. He's hanging on by a thread below the Cloud City. And then she walked off to go watch something in her playroom. So we haven't finished Empire. There's like 5 minutes left. You're like, don't you want to finish? Mom, I want to go watch something on my show. She was really committed to it. So it's been an eventful film watching week with her. I got caught up in a bunch of video game stuff. Ghost of Tsushima is amazing. And it's been a great relaxing, mostly unproductive week around here, but I did get my shed built outside. Finally, it took a while, Tyler. It was hot out there, but we got a shed.
Let's go.
How are you?
Man, that's I want to respond to so much of what you said. First, congrats on the shed. I know that was hard work. Did Freya help out on the back end? I know she was with you for the front part. Did she supervise for the latter half?
Oh yeah, she wanted to come out there and help, but then
Great.
she discovered the box. And then it was over. She cared nothing about it. No, so this giant, like 6 foot long box. She wanted nothing to do with the shed at that point. She just wanted to play in the box.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah.
Little kids are gonna little kid.
I knew that's where that was headed. Yeah. Let me ask you. This is I'll limit myself to 2 questions. This is number 2. How many Star Wars movies are there in total? Like, because my understanding is you both are committed to this marathon. You're much like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, which we'll get to. You and Freya are playing the long game. There's like 20 Star Wars movies, no?
No. Tyler, there are fewer Star Wars movies than the damn Fast franchise. You got Fast X.
There was the response we deserve today.
There are currently 11 in that franchise, correct? If you count Hobbs and Shaw?
If you count Hobbs and Shaw, yeah, at least 11.
Okay, so you have Fast 1 through X, and then you have, or I through X, I guess, and then you have Hobbs and Shaw, so you have 11.
Right.
And there will be more. Currently, there are 11 Star Wars movies, so it's a tie.
Oh, no way.
And
that's not including the offshoots, because the most recent Star Wars...
That is including the offshoots.
The most recent
there are a whole
one
bunch
I
of
saw...
TV shows now, though. So there's Andor, The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, and Ahsoka will be coming out.
Okay.
And then you have the Clone Wars, if you count that. And Rebels. So there's a whole bunch of TV show elements to it. But film-wise, movie theater-wise, you have episodes 1 through 9, and then you have Rogue One, and then you have Han Solo.
I saw the Childish Gambino one with Lando.
Han Solo, yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah,
that's my most recent Star Wars experience.
Tyler, that's over from 1977 to 2023. The Fast franchise has done this, dare I say, fast. And,
they have. And many of the films were great.
And as evidenced by the current product, quality over quantity, Tyler.
Yep. Money, revenue over quality.
It's already out on digital, which does not bode well.
I saw that.
I know we're going to get into it later on down the line. We talk XFL here, but The Rock is not having a great year, man.
We will get there.
He single-handedly ended the DC universe when he was trying to resurrect it by making Black Adam, I
want to counter you, but I haven't seen the film. It's available for me on Max, but I haven't clicked play on it, so I'll defer to you there.
That's kind of the point, is it not?
It's fair, yeah. Fast X. I was there opening weekend. Black Adam. I read it was bad. I heard from trusted sources like you that it wasn't great, and
far
it really decentralized me.
Far less bad than what it was made out to be.
Of course,
but,
always.
Yeah, I was fine. I enjoyed watching it. It's just like I haven't watched it since. Probably won't.
It was mediocre.
Especially when you know it's not going anywhere. It's like it felt like it was building towards something. But how are you going to have Shazam be one of the best DC movies, and then have the biggest Shazam villain not be involved with Shazam because The Rock wanted him to fight Superman? Because he just wants to fight Superman because he wants to be The Rock fighting Superman. What? That's like, oh, we have Spider-Man here, but we're going to have Venom do a separate movie because we can't have the licensing go into MCU, which is what they did. What? Venom without Spider-Man? No, I don't want that. I want Spider-Man and Venom intertwined, please. Thank you very much. It's like Superman and no Lex Luthor. There's no... I almost said Lex Luger. This is a wrestling show.
It's always on the tip of the tongue.
Yeah, it's really dangerous game.
This is a wrestling show, I hear. So we should get into our WWE portion of the episode. Are you ready for my question, my man?
9 minutes deep. I am ready.
Well, I don't think it's a record, though. I think we've gone 11 or 12.
Oh, easily.
Before. Easily. Several times. So WWE talk. Let's get into it. a few notes to kick us off, as always, right? Kind of my pseudo recap. I love seeing Damian Priest and Seth Rollins main event Raw.
Awesome.
They tore the house down.
Yeah, it was great.
Last week, we spoke at length about the women's tag division. It looks like we have a title unification match between Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, NXT champs versus Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler in our near future. And Jey Uso did not, in fact, make a decision on SmackDown. But I want to ask you about a big match coming our way at the next Premium Live event, the men's Money in the Bank match. As the field has grown, I believe you can make a compelling case for every dude. First, Nakamura. Let's say he wins and ultimately gets a second crack at a world title run. I'd like that. LA Knight. We've spoken about how awesome he is on several occasions. This could be his time and really, I think, a nice reward for a really incredible career spanning many different companies. Santos Escobar. Why not capitalize on how much LWO is resonating with the fan base? Then you have Butch. Let's say Butch wins overseas, hopefully returning to his bruiserweight roots. And finally, Ricochet winning would make me very happy. And of course, we know Damian Priest is facing Matt Riddle this week to determine who gets that last spot. So all exposition now covered. Brad, what is the best possible outcome for this match?
LA Knight. You have to. All the other people in there, I know you want Ricochet to win. It's not going to happen.
He probably has the worst odds, right? It's
100%. He's going to have the coolest spot in the entire thing, and then
he is,
and then he'll probably eat the pin.
Yeah. Yes.
Like he'll be at the top of the ladder getting kicked off. Like, I know he can't get pinned, but he'll probably be the last person to get murdered before somebody gets the belt.
The Mustafa Ali moment where you're right there, and then Brock Lesnar's music hits, and it's done for.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you continue.
LA Knight is way too popular right now to not do anything with him, even if he doesn't end up being successful in a cash in, which I hope he is. I really hope he is. I hope that I think it would be amazing for the Bloodline storyline to have like Jimmy or Jay beat Roman for the title. And then while they're laying there being murdered, bloody, LA Knight's music plays and he immediately beats one of them and takes the belt. I would be here for that. Stealing the moment, stealing all of it. I don't know if he would be booed or celebrated forever for that. Right now he's obviously playing heel, but he's like a stone cold. I'm a bad guy, but everybody loves me. So I think they need to do something with him though. And I think this is a way, because since it doesn't seem like he's in any title programs right now, maybe he even cashes in on Gunther. I don't know. Maybe that's a way to get him to lose in a totally unfair way. Maybe LA Knight comes out and beats the shit out of him with a weapon and then hands the ref the briefcase and then pins him. And then he goes away for a little while, comes back, wins the Rumble, and then challenges whoever. I think that could be great. But I think it has to be LA Knight. I would love a Shinsuke run, like you said. That's my other person in there that I would love to see. Shinsuke makes a ton of sense, but LA Knight is the only one in there besides probably Damian Priest that hasn't had a title program, a main title program on the main roster outside of Ricochet, which isn't going to happen. So yeah, that's what I hope to see. In any event, I think it's an incredible, it's going to be an incredible match. It's such a good lineup.
Yeah, I love the field of this. It makes my heart so happy. You have so many different dudes and so many different shades and backgrounds and experiences.
Yes.
I have really, really high hopes for this match. I'm going to continue my Ricochet fantasy booking, but I would agree with you that LA Knight, I think not only does LA Knight have better odds than Ricochet to win, but him actually taking down that briefcase suspended in the air would be a huge moment. I think we know how the American fan base feels about LA Knight, but we've also seen his popularity translate beyond the United States.
Yes.
And I think he's going to be massively over in the UK. I love it, man. I I wonder if we're getting our hopes up. Like, can we actually see him being that dude? But then I remind myself, wait, Otis won this case not too long ago. We love Otis, right?
And then
But
lost it to the Miz.
I was gonna say, yeah, so he won it. Otis got his moment. Granted, that was pandemic era and it was different, but we see how
that was so good.
We see how that played out for him, and it was
Yeah.
not the most successful Money in the Bank run for the obvious reason you stated there.
That was probably my favorite Money in the Bank match ever, though.
It was so cool.
It was just
Do you
so
remember
much
when they were in that hallway and the elevator?
Yes, the elevator going up, and then
yeah.
AJ and Daniel Bryan busting into Vince's office.
Yes,
and then playing the No Chance theme and just get out. And they had to sadly walk out of the office. I loved all of that, and then it ended on the rooftop. Correct.
Yeah,
and Kai Black get thrown off the roof.
Yes, that's what bonded him and Rey Mysterio.
That's right.
Him and Rey Mysterio got thrown off together, and then they were bound for life.
What
was so incredible about that is I don't think we're ever going to see this again, but the men and women were joined together. Yes. This was all just one.
I loved it.
One production.
So frenetic, cut back and forth. They had the two elevators, right? They went up separately.
Yes,
yeah,
of course. Didn't Asuka jump off like the second or third floor into to start the match into the pile?
Incredible.
Yeah, that was really that was definitely a highlight.
I got to go back and watch this match again. That was
I think we may have a few. I think we may have a future retro review.
Yeah,
in our future. But that was amazing. That was actually now that I hear your thoughts and kind of think back to my viewing of that match, that was probably one of my favorite moments from the pandemic era. There was the Firefly Funhouse. There were so many other ones, but Money in the Bank.
The Viking Profits.
Yes. Yeah. No, absolutely not.
Fighting ninjas.
There were some really bad moments. Ooh. There were some really problematic moments.
The greatest
Money in the Bank was not one.
That we had the greatest wrestling match ever, which was a good match.
It was a good match.
It was not the greatest wrestling match ever, but it was a lot of fun. It was good.
Randy and
Edge got hurt.
Match. Yeah.
That sucked. The Randy era, Randy versus Drew era, Drew McIntyre's entire title run, basically in front of fans.
I mean, I love that dude. We need a second title run for him.
We had all the nostalgia legends show up in that match where Ric Flair was driving the ambulance and Christian was there, and there's all that stuff. There's a lot of good stuff that happened during the pandemic era. There was the best thing that happened during the pandemic era, Tyler, is just Bayley and Sasha. That's the best thing that could have happened. They carried both brands through the entire thing. They were incredible. But that match in particular, that Money in the Bank match, was so good that I gotta go back and watch it. I like the cinematic version of stuff they did. I like the Firefly Funhouse match. With Cena, I like that. There's a lot of good that came out of that, but that's my favorite Money in the Bank. I'm hoping that we get one that's even better this year. Tyler, my question for you: there have been several, not a few. There have been several new belt designs, new belts introduced, and then there's the change to Asuka's belt, which is basically Roman's belt but with white leather, and looks infinitely better than Roman's belt. So my question for you, it's kind of a two-parter. It's more of a clarifier here. How do you feel about all of the rebranding happening almost simultaneously in WWE, but in a way that feels really spread out? Would it be better to do it all at once after or during a big PLE, or is their current approach the right approach?
I might surprise you here. I'm not mad with the current approach. I am mad at Roman's new design. I heard it described as like the honey mustard belt.
Yes,
which makes
100%.
Which makes all the sense. So I am mad at some of the designs we're getting, but in terms of the timing and sort of the just general, presentation and layout of it, I actually like it. I think it's the right move to kind of streamline from a business perspective. I know you really geek out over the business part of it. From a business perspective, I think it does make all the sense to have a more streamlined process with your titles. I mean, before, this is going back maybe a couple years ago, but when we had the red Raw men's title, the blue SmackDown, it looks cool. And I think I even purchased one from Target back in the day, right? So I'm kind of a shill in that regard. But I think this is a new era of WWE, and having it more streamlined is something I'm really excited for. I just wish Roman's new design hit a little bit more, but Seth's looks great with the logo in the middle. Really like Asuka's, to your
So,
point.
so I think
I think the layout and the presentation of it is great. I wouldn't wait till after PLE.
okay. So that's what I was going to ask. It's more about the timing of it because
Yeah,
they haven't done it for the other belts yet, though,
they
and
haven't.
I can imagine that's coming. So when do you do that, and why aren't you doing that? So my questions
Yeah,
really
no, I
revolve
got
around
you.
like,
I
why are
got you.
you? So it seems like they rebranded SmackDown and only introduced a new belt to Raw, but we're also getting the tag team unification. So we know we're going to get new belts there because
Yeah,
the women's tag unification is going to happen.
right.
If that's going to happen, they're probably going to have to unify the men's, which means new belts. So I'm fine with having new belts, but it feels to me, it's starting to feel like Tony Khan has a big announcement. It's every week we have an
Oh
announcement about
no,
Collision. It's
no,
every week
yeah,
there's a new belt rebrand, and it's starting to feel like less special because it's happening. It's happening spread out, but not spread out enough to make it feel special. It's like every week we're getting something new here, which I know wrestling fans love new. JR would love to say that. Wrestling fans love new, but not every week with the new shit. Like this is having some of it be new and then having some of it not be new makes it feel like, well, we don't care about the other stuff because they're not getting new. So it's less important. Asuka got this new belt. It's more in line with Roman's belt. So the branding is more consistent with the men and the women, which I want to see anyway. I think you and I both agree that making the women's belt look less special is certainly a choice. It says a lot about the women's division, and they did the opposite. Asuka's belt rules. It's on brand with Roman's now, which makes it feel as important on the show as Roman's title. And I love that. I think getting the new belts and the new approach to it, I think is great. I don't know that I agree with the timing, but maybe I'm wrong on this. Maybe everybody else is like, no, cool. I don't know that all at once is the decision to be made. Like we're getting all new belts at WrestleMania.
That's
I
what I
don't
was
know
going to
that that's
ask
the
you.
best thing.
Would you prefer just one PLE where all the belts are now presented with the updated version? Would you prefer one shot or just a more organized process than what we're getting,
I
where
think a
it's
more
so spread
organized
out?
process because
Okay.
like Roman got his new belt and they unified it, which makes sense since there's the other championship title now. Those two make complete sense to me, right? But then Asuka got a new belt. And I don't know that that was necessary at the time. Because it's not like actually that belt's probably the most different of all of them because you have the white strap plus the new plates. And we're getting the tag team unification match. And maybe they're gonna walk around with four belts like KO and Sammy, which seems silly. But maybe I'm wrong here. Maybe not. Because if they are planning on unifying them, that to me implies new belts. So we can assume that that's going to happen. Maybe they'll do at the match the presentation of whoever wins gets these new belts, or it's going to be at the following week when they're presented as the new women's tag team champions. They get the belts then. I'm not really sure how they'll do it, but that feels like those are new belts coming. Do you think they touch US? Do they think they touch Intercontinental? Gunther certainly deserves his own belt at this point. So I'm not really sure what they do with all of this. It just feels like we're getting to a point where we're going all willy-nilly with these belt updates, and it's feeling like it's happening too quickly, not spread out enough. So my question was like, do you just do it all at once, get it over with? Or do you do it a little bit more slowly over time? Maybe at the next PLE, you do one. At the next PLE, you do another one. And then you have at least a month in between rather than like right now, it's starting to feel like every week we got something new. I don't want that. Just do it. Just be done with it. Because I don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm getting tired of talking about how the belts look. And I don't know. Maybe I'm totally off here. Maybe I'm in the minority here, but if the pacing of it feels a little bit weird because I'm thinking about the belt more than I'm thinking about the match and the wrestlers.
Right. And I don't think that's what WWE wants you to do. They want you to go out and buy the new belts at
Sure.
Target and Walmart, but they don't want you to lose sight of the actual match and storyline in front of you.
But I wouldn't want to buy a belt right now because I'm afraid it's going to change, and then there's going to be a new one on the way.
True
So
that.
it's like,
True that. It could be a collector's item if we're playing the long game. Freya's tuition at the University of Michigan.
you got your still box 24/7 title somewhere.
I do not.
All right,
I do not.
Well,
Yeah,
that's unfortunate.
you don't have to worry about me. But speaking of prizes, Brad, almost forgot about this. Shame on me. We want you to celebrate our 2nd anniversary with us. And when I say our, I mean 19 Media. Yes, 19 Media Group is turning 2. We're hosting a swag giveaway to thank you for your amazing support. You can win exclusive 19 Media Group merchandise like limited edition t-shirts, hoodies, hats, and more. So if you miss buying that 24/7 title, no fear. You can get limited edition 19 merch. To enter, follow us, meaning 19 Media Group, at 19M Group on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Comment happy birthday on our anniversary posts, and you are entered. Simple as that. 3 ways to enter, 3 chances to win. The giveaway runs the entire month of June and ends on the 30th. Winners will be contacted via DM. Engage with us for a chance to win these dope prizes. Thank you for being a part of our journey. Brad, speaking of prizes, should we roll right into sharps as well?
Yeah, I think so. I think we really
Let's
should.
go.
I mean, Tyler, are you tired of placing bets alone and not having anyone to talk to about your predictions? Do you want to connect with other sports bettors and share your winning strategies? Look no further than Sharps, the social network for sports bettors. With Sharps, you can connect with friends, see what they're betting on, and even interact with their bets. Some people did fade my bet a couple of weeks ago, and they were right to do so. The iOS app connects to all major sports books. Excuse me, I'm getting all choked up over this. And daily fantasy platforms like DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, Prize Picks, and Underdog. Here's the best part. If you download Sharps now and use the promo code WIND338, WIND338, you'll receive access to the community. Start showing off your betting chops and an opportunity to compare your bets with us. So what are you waiting for? Download Sharps today. Use our promo code WIND338 and start connecting with other sports bettors. Don't forget to share your winning strategies and interact with other users' bets. Join the social network for the sports bettors and take your betting game to the next level. Tyler, I would have bet on the Panthers winning one yesterday. The Florida Panthers, had I remembered to get my bet in on time, and I am glad that I did not. I think the Las Vegas Golden Knights are going to sweep the Stanley Cup playoffs. I don't think the Panthers have a chance in hell here. Bobrovsky is not doing well. I did see that. I have to look something up really quickly.
Yeah.
That's right. So Aiden Hill is the goalkeeper for the Las Vegas Golden Knights. And I was trying to figure out where it was. Yeah, there it is. He was one of the first goalies I saw live when I had the inaugural Tucson Roadrunner tickets. He was the Roadrunners goalie, and now he's in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Word. What?
Yeah. So
Okay.
shout out to Aiden Hill.
Aiden Hill.
Really liked watching him here. So even though I like the Panthers
cool.
as an underdog team, the Vegas Knights are new. And honestly, I kind of want to see that Tucson boy win. I know he's not from there, but I feel like he's part of the community.
Yeah. We can claim him. He played
Absolutely.
at the TCC. Yeah.
Hell yes, he did. Yeah.
I actually, too, very quick. This is actually uncharted territory for us. Hockey talk on GI.
Right.
I am here for it, and I may need to ride shotgun next to you on this. I tuned in yesterday, I think right after the game was over, and there was a fight breaking out.
Yes,
on
sure
the
was.
ice, and it was prolonged. It wasn't like, okay, let's go ahead and stop this and
No, it was a melee.
Let's get to the post game conferences and let's hear from, I don't know, Wayne Gretzky on the panel. Or I had one of those moments where I felt like a complete novice. It's like, wait, how many periods are there in hockey? Is this allowed that they're just fighting post game? What did I miss? It was a hockey viewing experience unlike any I've had.
Yeah, there's a lot of rules in hockey, and I was trying to convince my mother-in-law that the Stanley Cup finals are so much fun to watch. This year, not so much, but hockey playoffs are great. The NBA playoffs this year have been incredible, probably really up until this series, but it's one of those things where if you don't know what the rules are, it's really hard to invest your time into it. And there is a steep learning curve. It's not like a lot of other sports. There are 3 periods in hockey. You have to know what the blue lines are. You have to know the different positions, what constitutes a penalty for 2 minutes, for 5 minutes.
Penalty box Jones, right?
Yeah, and well, there's some other stuff. If you get a game misconduct in the playoffs, you were actually suspended for a game. There's a whole thing, and then do you go game misconduct? Do you just give them the penalty? There's so many different things. Having a brawl after a game is over is kind of like fighting in the NBA after a game is over. You can't. It's not a hockey play. It's not an anything. The game's over. So I imagine, I haven't looked today at all. I imagine there's going to be some consequences for several of the
I would
players.
think so. It was
Yeah.
just it felt like I was watching it in slow motion.
Yeah.
It was just it was pretty jarring.
Yeah, I don't think the next game is until, I want to say, Tuesday.
That would make sense. NBA's Monday.
Yeah, so
Tonight, possibly, if you're listening to this when it dropped.
yeah, so I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure what's going to happen. I'm looking up. Let's see. Not a thing. But all the results are like about escrow.
Of course.
No, of course. Not hockey doesn't even care about hockey right now. It's amazing.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
Well, something that we do care about, Brad, is AEW. Huge week, a good week, I would say, in AEW that we watched and followed, and then this week coming up, pretty huge, one of the biggest of the year for them, for sure, maybe even in company history.
Yeah.
So that being said, I do have a question for you. First, I want to touch on what stood out to me, though. Forbidden Door 2. We have 2 matches announced. Danielson versus Okada and Omega versus Ospreay.
So
I'm excited. I think your excitement probably even supersedes mine. These are 4 of your favorite dudes in the industry.
Yep.
That's not my question, but do you have any quick reaction to those 2 matches being announced?
Yes, I do. This is like fantasy booking. Only Tony Khan just made it happen. This is a dream come true. I can't wait for this. I hope each match gets 2 hours.
Hey, man, I thought Brian...
I'd be fine with just those 2 matches, and that's it.
That's real. 1 hour pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I thought Brian Danielson's vignette in the desert was so tough. That bar he had about, you may be the rainmaker, but there's no rain here in the desert.
Yeah, he's like,
see you later.
This is the desert, and there ain't gonna
be any rain. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Like, that is the toughest bar I've heard all year. Maybe in a decade. It was
maybe
so
good, but I am the litmus test for great.
Yes.
Good Lord.
Okay, Brian Danielson. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm stoked, man.
I can't wait for this.
Yeah. My juices were titillated and everything. I can't wait. I will gladly put down the money for this pay-per-view. I think it's gonna rule.
I also think Will's taking that strap back.
Definitely.
It makes sense.
They're gonna have a third match at some point. Yeah.
In Canada, in front of Kenny's people.
That's a good point.
I can't wait for this. That crowd's going to be insane. Yeah. Tyler, insane. Canadian wrestling fans are different, and they don't get a lot of AEW up there. They're going to be spoiled with those 2 things. So I can't wait.
And to your point, we only have 2 matches announced. You would think that's only a fourth of the card. We're at least getting 7 to 8 in total.
I'm hoping some Stardom people are able to make it over. Hopefully somebody challenges Toni Storm. They wanted to work with her. I know there was talk that it would have been Sasha versus Saraya potentially until Sasha got hurt. Mercedes Moné now. I don't know if that's still in the works. I don't know if that'll ever happen, but hopefully injury wise, she's okay, and that it's a short-term injury, that it really is an ankle sprain. But yeah, to your point, there's really not a lot announced so far.
Yeah. Consider me intrigued. This is going to be so good. I know we'll talk about it more. So in terms of AEW, kind of the weekend review, quickly, Adam Cole and MJF dueled on the mic. I know that I would say was what the timeline was talking about most following Dynamite. I'm pretty sure the Guns are new members of Bullet Club Gold. While I've really come around on them, I actually did enjoy that Many Men 50 Cent performance or song choice a while ago. I've been higher on them since. I did not love the finish to that match, but again, alas, I think they're the next recruits for Bullet Club Gold. And Skye Blue won an awesome Rampage main event. becoming the number one contender for Toni Storm's AEW Women's Champion. But, and I can't emphasize this enough, but we're entering a new chapter in AEW's history. This Saturday marks the debut of AEW Collision. Tony Khan announced its first main event, Samoa Joe, the hilarious Juice Robinson, and Switchblade Jay White. I know you saw that at the end of Dynamite too. And
Rock hard Juice Robinson.
Oh
yes.
my gosh.
He's great. I'm
speaking
so
of
glad
people
he's
I've come around. I remember him as CJ Parker in NXT, but that seems like so long ago. I'm really enjoying his work. So we're getting these three, Joe, Juice, and Jay White versus CMFTR. Of course, that being CM Punk and FTR. My question for you. It's actually a three-part question. Jesus. Really feeling myself. What are you hoping to experience with this new Saturday show now that it's finally here? And moreover, what would you deem a successful debut episode? What's your criteria?
A successful debut episode is, I don't know, they got to meet that over 1 million. It has to be over 1 million. 1.5 would probably be way more successful than anybody would anticipate, but it's got to be over 1 million for that debut episode, especially with CM Punk coming back. I think they're running unopposed on Saturday night. I just want to see good wrestling. What do I hope to see? It's different. I want to see different on this show. I'm not sure what's going to make it different, but they've kind of gone away from it on Rampage, which I don't love. I miss the Mark Henry live interviews instead of the pre-tape stuff. I don't like that. I want it back to the dual box with Mark Henry in the middle. Gives me old school vibes. I kind of hope that we get a Saturday night main event feel to it. I hope they go super old school for the presentation. I hope they lean into it, but then also make it modern. I think more interviews. I want more promos. So I want more backstage interviews. I want more promos. Not like the 3-second things. I want like Kevin Kelly in the back talking to somebody, Mean Gene Okerlund talking, those kinds of like longer form interviews. I'm not thinking like Gordon Soley or something here, but I think I want to be surprised. I want to see something different. I want to see something I haven't seen. And I don't know what that is, because if I did, it would be surprising or wouldn't be surprising. So I just want to see good wrestling, good content. I want to see more women getting more time.
I'm here for all that, especially the last point you mentioned. So we know we got a lot of dudes that are going to be featured on the card. We mentioned 6 of them, but then the promotional materials, of course, we have Andrade, Miro, right? We're finally going to get Miro back.
Finally.
Hopefully a Scorpio Sky appearance.
Thunder Rosa,
Powerhouse Hobbs, even though we did see Powerhouse on Rampage. We know he's going to be heavily featured. But like you said, we only really have one woman who we know for sure is going to be a central figure in all this, in Thunder Rosa. And while I'm stoked for her return, and hopefully this is going to be just amazing, to your point, Brad, who are the other women that the show is going to be built around? And are they going to be given the time so that we can invest in their matches and the storylines? I really am hopeful this is going to be an awesome addition for the company.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't really have anything to add there. I'm just really excited to see what it looks like. I'm going to be tuning in. I'll probably be watching live, not delay live from Arizona. I'm kind of hoping they can figure that out. Like,
yeah, me too.
I hate this delayed broadcast stuff. Like, if there's a live event, it should just be live. It should not be like you can watch reruns of Chicago Fire some other time.
I'm saying,
yeah, I love being able to stream the USA Network and Fox and TNT TBS on my like my Roku or whatever in the back. I love being able to do that, but I shouldn't have to do that. I should just be able to watch it on my TV and not have to F around with logging in every damn time I open that app. It drives me absolutely bonkers that it just simply won't remember me. And I got to go to my phone. I'm like, all right, well, I just missed the first 10 minutes because I'm at tbs.com/activate again. Anyway,
That's I have nothing to add. That's hilarious yet super unfortunate. What are we doing here?
I don't know, but I know what's not unfortunate. Skye Blue. Skye Blue, I know she's probably one of your favorites. I love Skye Blue, getting to watch her growth. I really liked it. It looked a little awkward at first, but like the way she rolled onto Nyla's back and then did the pin up, she looked legitimately surprised. I don't know if they told her the finish. Like I kind of feel like she's got to pin Nyla and Nyla's going to kick out, and then she didn't because
I didn't consider that.
Because that looked like real surprise. Either she is like an incredible actress, but she was crying at the end of that.
Audience was surprised. She looked surprised.
I thought that was great. I think it's a great moment for her. It helps build
Huge.
another star. I love that because she was in the ring with some great wrestlers. Also, shout out to Mercedes Martinez finally getting to be on like the prime shows on TV, not on subscription ROH. Hopefully she's healthy. Hopefully she's doing well. It was really, really good to see her out there. So Skye Blue is going to face Toni Storm for the women's title after winning the #1 contender 4-way match, Rampage's main event, which was great. She looked legitimately surprised. But Tyler, speaking of surprises, how do you feel? This is a two-parter. How do you feel about referee Aubrey Edwards in a wrestling match? Is this fine? Just a really fun moment for Aubrey, or does this smell of TNA? Your thoughts?
Oh no, not those 3 letters. Okay, so I've had a bit of an emotional roller coaster with this. At first, I will admit that I did not like the idea of a referee being in a match. I don't know if there's much of a precedent set, Brad. I think you're kind of the resident historian of GI in many ways. I don't know if there's precedent for this. So maybe it's one of those.
I'm sure, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
There's commentators in matches, but
of course,
I can't remember
Michael
refs.
Cole. Yeah. So
in the
it's like,
the onesie.
yeah, and it's like, okay, if I was maybe I wasn't okay with it, but if I put up with Michael Cole being in his Syracuse onesie in a match, why do I now have an issue with a ref who happens to be a woman, being given this spot? So at first, I just felt a little uncomfortable with the idea of a ref, honestly, regardless of gender, being put in a match. But then I kind of considered what you and I just spoke of, and I thought about how amazing Aubrey is, right? Like 100% approval rating, I think, for the fan base. She just seems fantastic. And I'm not hating the Karen Jarrett, Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal presentation at all. Really, like I'm actually, you know how I feel about the theme song. I love him and Jay Lethal, that theme song. It's honestly one of my favorites. No facetious bone in my body here. I actually really enjoy it. And I'm totally here with more Mark Briscoe on our TV. He was in great
He's
form.
so great.
Once again this week. I forget his lines, but just his delivery and his disposition. You do better impressions than I do, but the fact that Mark Briscoe is a part of this, Papa Briscoe is going to be involved here. But again, going back to the women at the center of this, Karen Jarrett, I think I enjoy perhaps more than most. And for Aubrey, honestly, Brad, I'm going to be tuning in to see how Aubrey moves and what her move set is. I have no idea. There's no history in terms of, is she a super kick person? Is she a German suplex?
Oh, it's got to be a German. German's
what's
going
her
to be called the ref bump.
I love it. Does she deliver a drop kick? Like I'm gonna tune into this. So as a one-off, as dare I say, a spectacle kind of match, I'm totally cool with it. I forget who said this on the timeline or on the podcast this week, but wrestling is supposed to be fun and a little bit zany, right? It doesn't have to be this prescriptive sort of like it has to check these boxes for me to enjoy it. It has to be ultra serious. Sometimes just something really out of the ordinary like this is fun. It's wrestling. It's silly. It's not supposed to be so serious all the time. So I'm absolutely here for it. I can't wait. And I just don't know what to expect. I'm going to go in with no expectations, and I think I'm going to have a blast. How about you? What are your thoughts on it?
I love this. I'm with you, man. Like, there's a lot of people like, get Jeff Jarrett off my screen, get him off my screen, all this stuff. And I'm like, why? He's so hateable. Yeah. It's entertaining. I I don't understand. And he's really good still.
Yes.
He's such a good worker. Holy hell. Like this is, I'll never understand people doing a really good job at making you hate them and then being like, get him off my screen. It's like, that's what he wants. That's the whole point of this. Why are you upset? Like, how do you, is this your first time watching wrestling? I don't understand. And it's not even go away heat. It's like, I want to see him get punched in the face. It's great. He's great. The whole thing is working for me now because it's so over the top. Throw in Sanjay just bursting a blood vessel in his forehead when he's yelling at somebody through a microphone. It's just so good. The pencil, all of it.
Yeah.
Just Satnam Giant singing in the background. Like
I enjoy him. I enjoy him in this current form. I think it's important.
Great.
I think it's important that he has a consistent spot on TV. Great representation.
Yes, agreed. And he's a specimen. And they're not making him do too much. He's probably not. I don't know what he looks like in the ring as a wrestler. They're having him do exactly what he can do, and all he really needs to do. And it's awesome. I still think about and start laughing sometimes him holding Briscoe's baby. Like it just makes me chuckle that this tiny little human being is in his absolute bear paws. He's just a massive human being. I love this. I think this is great for Aubrey. I love Aubrey Edwards. She has her own figure. That's awesome. Wouldn't you want to do this if you had the chance to?
Absolutely.
So I can't wait for this. And it makes a ton of sense.
Yes.
It's the mixed tag. You know that Mark's going to do the heavy lifting. Aubrey's going to come in there and there's probably going to be some slapping from Karen Jarrett. There's just going to be some of that stuff, maybe even some hair pulling, and then Aubrey's not going to have it and is probably going to hit her with something, and it's going to be awesome. And the crowd's going to go crazy. It's going to be. Do
you think this is going to be a cinematic match?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know.
It would make sense, right?
That would make a ton of sense, yeah.
And are we going to see this in Sandy Fork?
Ooh,
that's probably the best. That's probably the best possible outcome, right?
Has to be.
Yeah.
Showdown at the chicken farm.
I think so.
Oh man, there's going to be long shots of chickens and stuff. Like, it's going to be so over the top and silly if they do it cinematically. It has to happen.
It has to.
Now, now that you said that, that has to be it. I don't ever want to see them in a ring.
I'm down.
Not live anyway. If the ring is in the back of the farm, okay, I'm here for it.
I'll be tuning in. Well, Brad, I think this is just going to be so exciting, man. I think you and I were surprised that this was the outcome of it. Like, we knew that there were signs of, oh man, Karen Jarrett versus Aubrey Edwards may be a thing, but we finally got confirmation that we are going to see this happen. On a related note, though, two other events or developments that surprised us this week.
Other people that have become a thing.
Very much so.
Yeah.
It just must be discussed. And fortunately, we have a segment specifically dedicated to discussing matters that shock us. So I think it's time that we roll into the highly acclaimed What Happened Here. Play the music.
What happened here?
All right, man, we got a double feature. I'm going to try to be as concise as possible. I'm going to lead the first, and I think I'm going to kick it to you for the second. So the first story, I was going to pull up an official article, but I'm just going to summarize it. Zion Williamson appeared as a trending topic this week. Brad, you and I thought, hopefully it's something related to play. Hopefully he's in great shape and is super motivated for the next NBA season, but it was not. He and his partner had a gender reveal party. Perhaps that's mistake number one. I've attended gender reveals because I love the people who were there.
Yeah.
But as a concept, it's a little questionable. But he and his partner had a gender reveal party. They're expecting a daughter, it turns out, which is amazing. Not too long after that, though, a woman named Mariah Mills went to Twitter and shared a bit about her and Zion Williamson's relationship. She is in the content business, if you will, and basically shared that her and Zion have had a romantic relationship, and he promised to fly her out. And really, he has the woman he's with, right? The woman of his future, or the mother of his future child, but then on the side, he also had this woman who he was contacting with and apparently seeing quite often. And apparently other women have came out and shared that Zion has expressed some romantic feelings toward them. So Brad, I don't know where to go for this. I don't know that we need to have a 10-minute segment dedicated to it, but it's just fascinating that the two top draft picks of that draft, John Morant and Zion Williamson, in my opinion, are at a bit of a crossroads. And by no means has Zion Williamson apparently broken the law, right? Like him and Ja have two different situations going on.
Yeah.
But I also don't know what it's like to be 22 years old, as Zion Williamson is, to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars, and you're trying to deal with all of this fame and your relationships. And it was wild, man. So I know folks got their jokes off, and I chuckled at some of them, but it just made me think about this age of social media and fame and what it must be like to be a 22-year-old dude who's trying to figure all of this out. Brad, when I was 22, I was kind of a hot mess. I didn't have a lot of money. I don't know that I would have wanted to date myself at 22. So it kind of stirred a lot of emotions for me. So I don't know if you have thoughts on that. I don't know if you want to roll right into our second what happened here, but I wanted to present that to kick us off.
No, it's complicated, and I think part of it is like he's had a lot of downtime. Like he's famous, but he hasn't really done a lot yet because he's been injured so much. Unfortunately, like everybody wants to see him play, but we haven't really. But everybody knows who he is. So to have all of that fame, I don't know what his next contract's going to look like. He's an athletic freak, but he's also like, I haven't seen him in a while. I don't know what his weight status is. I don't know what his physical fitness is like. I don't know what his conditioning looks like. Who knows? All of that's going to play into his future financials, and it can be gone pretty quickly if it's not taken care of correctly. So when you see something like this, it is a little bit alarming. And if I'm somebody that's trying to court him for his next contract, this is maybe something to pause about because it shows some immaturity potentially, but it's complicated. I don't know that I want to comment any further on that in particular, because we're heading toward dangerous territory with anything that we say. So speaking of dangerous territory, losing $60 million in its first year, the XFL has taken quite the shot. This morning, Bleacher Report released an article by Francisco Rosa that had The Rock quoted within it. This is not just an endeavor that's going to fill up a portfolio and one day we flip it and we're out. This is legacy. This is the long game, The Rock said in an interview. So it sounds like with the ESPN partners and Disney being part of that, and then there are other partnerships that they're all about it. According to that article, the games averaged 627,000 viewers per game and 1.4 million for the league's championship game. So starting out, that's decent. Those are decent numbers when there are other sports in playoff mode. I don't know. In my opinion, I didn't see a lot of advertising out on the internet and in other places for the XFL. I think it was just sort of like, hey, football exists. They'll show up. And I don't know that that's necessarily true, but in any case, The Rock has taken some hits this year with Black Adam folding hard, with Young Rock being canceled, and now the financial reports for the XFL being released. Hopefully it turns itself around. I think we all want to see DJ be successful. I don't think there's anything wrong with him, and I think he seems like a genuinely good guy. There's people that are laughing at him for failures, and I don't get that. That's weird. Raise people up. It's weird to laugh at failures like that, unless it's from people that are just absolutely terrible, horrible people that have done terrible things. Then I'm going to cackle at them when they financially flop. But this doesn't seem like that. This is jobs. This is more entertainment for us. There's a lot of things. So hopefully they can turn it around, but losing 60 million in the first year doesn't sound great. But like The Rock said, it is a long game. They still have to flesh it out, establish a viewership base, build, grow from there. And I think they can do a lot of that by advertising during the NFL season this year.
Well said, man. I'll just quickly say that my biggest gripe, or I guess area for improvement, is making that online shop better. The logo,
that shop is awful.
I feel like I could make
Awful.
a logo as good as the one they have, which isn't a good for them. And I went on there actually yesterday. They're having a 25% off special, but the logos and the items are just kind of just very mediocre. So I would love to see that. But I agree with you, man, in terms of dancing on people's failures. I don't understand that either. I know we're yearning for him to come back to a wrestling ring for that dream match against Roman, but I love DJ. I want to see him succeed. And I thought what you said was just very, very astute.
Well, I appreciate that. It does. I've been trying to think of what is it? Let me look. There was a Spirit Shop. That's what it is. Spirit Shop or Prep Sportswear. That's what it reminds me of. I've been looking up. I was looking for a while for some hometown merch, and they make like generic high school merch. Kind of like if you go to Walgreens, they have sort of the local sports team, non-branded, non-official apparel kind of stuff. Like they'll just have a random tiger on a blue and gold shirt for the Marana High School Tigers. And some of it's okay and some of it's really, really bad. That the XFL shop kind of gives me those vibes, or it's just Spirit Shop, bad 90s logos. They're not sized correctly. They're weird places. They don't look good.
There's so much potential there. Like I want to support them, but I also don't want to pay $25 for a mediocre Seattle Sea Dragons orange cap. I need something more enticing.
Exactly. Yeah. 100% with you there.
Well,
Tyler,
Brad,
what did we miss? Wow. Look at that.
Come on, man. We're both here. We know we're approaching an hour. Let's go. I'm just going to run you through my 3 items here. I'm going to save the best for last if I can just find it. Yes, I can. Here we go. So Chris Sabin is X Division champion and Alex Shelley is world heavyweight champion in Impact. Yeah, so shout out. This kind of goes back to our production meeting. Not only shout out to the entire state of Michigan and those who grew up there, but for these 2 guys, right, the Motor City Machine Guns, big results for them at Impacts against all odds. Frank Vogel had his introductory press conference, so the Suns have hired a new coach. And I will try to be cautiously optimistic for the next year about that franchise's future. And the best for last, finally, our favorite first grader has a birthday party coming up. So shout out to Freya, birthday party Jones. I just can't believe she's going to be in first grade soon. I hope her party is amazing. And I hope our listeners and viewers will get all the details on the next episode.
Yeah, it'll happen. It's next week. So by the time we start recording, we'll definitely have something to talk about. Her actual birthday is on the 20th, and really, really excited for her to peep the Danhausen cameo that we got for her. And shout out to Danhausen. It was a fun little video. The news that Stardom had talks with AEW to also include talent at Forbidden Door, not just New Japan, but Stardom. Stardom it was the fastest growing, fastest viewership growth and popularity growth of almost any promotion, certainly in Japan, of any promotion during the pandemic era up until now. And Stardom continues to grow. For those that don't know what Stardom is a female Japanese wrestling promotion, a Joshi wrestling promotion that is affiliated with New Japan. And I love to see that. I didn't realize that about them. I just figured they've been on top and around for a long time because I know there's a bunch of other promotions, but to see Stardom really growing, and now that to know Mercedes Moné is there as well, and Willow Nightingale is competing with Stardom talent and doing stuff with New Japan. It's really, really, really great. I love all of this. Hopefully we get to see some Stardom talent at Forbidden Door. As of now, it doesn't look like that's going to happen, but I really hope that changes.
Well, quick plugs as we prepare to end another amazing edition of GI. GimmickInfringementPod.com is the website. You can see all of our links, all of our articles. Everything is there. It is the mothership. You can follow Brad on Twitter at WindDuster. I highly encourage you to do so. You can also follow me at Tyler J. McDowell. We, of course, can be found at GIPod19. We thank you so much for being here. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you again soon. Gimmick Infringement is a part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Good Pods, our premier partners, and Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.